Hey y'all, this is Gary with Tennessee Stands, and I've got a very important message for Republican voters in Williamson County. Listen, we need your support. We need your help. Coming up on March 4th, we have the Williamson County Republican Party reorganization. For those of you who don't know, the Republican Party across the state has county-level executive boards that exist in almost every county. And those county executive boards for the party reorganize every 2 years. And so we depend on you, on Republican voters, to show up on the night of the convention to elect a board. And this is important. Why? Because this determines how your Republican Party functions in the county, whether or not they're a bunch of rhinos, whether or not they're actual conservatives, whether or not they align with the establishment, whether or not they're actually going to support and publicly defend conservative values, or just pat our legislative officials on the back, how they're going to raise funds, how they're going to operate in primary elections. All of these things are really, really important in terms of how your Republican Party operates. And right now, we have a decision to make. And you guys have an opportunity on the 4th to elect the current party, the party that won in 2023. In 2023, we took back our Republican Party, and we have had one of the most conservative, over the last 2 years, one of the most conservative Republican parties in the entire state. And in 2023, that convention was a record-breaking, over 600 Republican voters showed up, and we beat the opposition 2-1 that night. So it was a great victory. And since then, the Republican Party has done a phenomenal job in Williamson County in terms of speaking against red flag laws, talking about medical freedom, supporting election integrity, hosting events on the dangers of digital currency. We've supported real conservative candidates for our county commission and our school board races. It's been a great 2 years, and I'm asking you for a repeat. I'm asking all of our folks to show up on March 4th and re-elect this board so that we can make sure we keep Williamson County conservative. Lest you are confused at this current group chaired by Brian Clifford, calling themselves the Williamson County Conservatives, which is funny. They're painting themselves as grassroots. These are the people we beat 2 years ago. This is the old Cheryl Brown crowd. So unless some of you forgot, I want to give you a little bit of a history lesson. In this video clip, this is 2021. So this is under the old party regime under Cheryl Brown. The same people that are running right now to oust the current party. They're calling themselves the Williamson County Conservatives. They are most certainly not. This is the Cheryl Brown crew. And this is 2021. This was, they want to talk about closed door behind the scenes meeting. This was a closed door secret meeting with Cheryl Brown, with Jack Johnson, with Jay Galbraith, and with Mary Kate Anderson Brown. Her husband is Josh Brown, current chair of the Williamson County School Board, same guy that was the senior vice president and lead lobbyist for Pfizer during COVID, who was sought out undercover by James O'Keefe of Project Veritas for setting up a meeting between the CEO of Pfizer and Governor Bill Lee at a Republican Governors Association meeting in Washington, D.C. All right, this is his wife, Mary Kate Anderson Brown, who's a longtime establishment political operative here in Williamson County. This is what she had to say in the old regime's backdoor, closed-door meetings with other potential candidates. Take a listen.
Tennessee Republican Party, if you donate time or money to the Williamson County Republican Party or the Tennessee State Republican Party, there are some workarounds.
We get it.
How much money? How much money? Yeah.
Right?
All I have, because I know, like, I voted in my first mayor and alderman race in Franklin ever a couple weeks ago. I voted here for 10 years.
Right.
But suddenly, I'm one of the people who woke up and realized local politics is more important than I thought. I can't take it for granted anymore, even here. And so there's a lot of new people that I think won't have that history. You might
Yeah.
want to look at.
There's workarounds. If you want to run, I'll make sure you get involved. We'll make sure.
Now, I want you to pick up on something really important. We talk about following rules. What is a qualified Republican, a bona fide Republican? Well, per the bylaws, it's a Republican that votes in the last in at least 3 of the last 4 statewide primaries. And that's important because currently we don't have party registration here in Tennessee. We have open primaries. So there has to be a way to distinguish Democrats from Republicans. And per the bylaws, that's done by how many primaries you are voting in, determines whether or not what party you're a member of, I should say. So it's one thing to play by the rules and hear what I'm saying. Our team, the conservatives, the actual grassroots conservatives in this county, we have always supported playing by the rules. The problem has always been is that not everybody wants to play by the rules. And so under their leadership, if you remember the 2022 primaries when we ran school board candidates, we had several conservative candidates who were forced to run as independents because they were kicked off the Republican ballot for not having enough Republican votes, which would have been fine, actually, if they had treated everyone similarly. The problem is that the same people allowed certain individuals to run on the Republican ticket who had never voted in a Republican primary, who never had any voting record whatsoever in Tennessee of voting in a Republican primary, yet they were being allowed to vote on the Republican ticket, while other conservatives who may have at least had 1 or 2 Republican primary votes were kicked off the ballot and forced to run as independents. So they talk about following the rules, except when they were in charge, they did not follow the rules when it did not suit them. They are the ones that held backdoor meetings figuring out who they were going to place on the ballot. And you heard, so critical to hear, Mary Kate Anderson Brown say, well, I understand you've never voted in a primary before, and I get that, but boy, if you want to run, we're going to make a way. and they did. I mean, this is how we were operating under the old leadership in Williamson County. And thankfully, that was exposed, and you showed up in 2023, and we took this party back. And now they're mad. They're mad. They're angry. They want the party back. And they're well-funded, and they're sending out mailers and text messages trying to convince the county that they're the good grassroots folks trying to take the party back from the establishment. Please. We beat these people last time, y'all, 2-1. And they are scared to death, which is why they're sending texts like this. Take a look. So the last text, of course, it's got a picture of Kamala. You might remember when I ran against Jack Johnson in 2022, they ran mailers against me, comparing me to Nancy Pelosi because I'm a radical. And so they claim that the current party is like Kamala, and they disdain grassroots GOP voters, including military, and they want to cancel primary and install their own Republican nominees. The funny thing about these accusations is whenever they ran the party last time, that's exactly what they did. They installed their own nominees through the bylaws in the trash. That's what used to happen. Now what you have is a party that's an open book. Every meeting is open to the public. The books are open to the public for anyone who wants to see. You have one of the most transparent parties. Again, they don't like that. They don't want that. They want to operate in secret. I'm gonna just to refresh your memory on where we've been. I want to show you this clip from this is a clip from Cheryl Brown being interviewed in 2022 by Diamond and Silk about the upcoming 2023 reorganization. Listen to what she had to say.
Yeah, we are, but let me tell you what I see that's going on right now. Okay. Remember that the Democrats don't split their votes. The Democrats if they're a Democrat, they're a Democrat. They don't run as a Democrat and an independent, right?
Right.
So
right.
We have
no idea what in the hell you're talking about. Right. Keep going.
We have so-called Republicans who are saying we're running as Republicans, but we're running as independents. Well, how do you do that?
So pay attention. Cheryl Brown is trying to paint the picture that all of these bad conservatives, what she's not saying is because they've been kicked off of the Republican ballot, are running as independents to split the vote and attack the Republican Party. And immediately, Diamond and Silk has questions.
If you are independent, you're independent. Don't try to get on that ticket and tell the Republicans to vote for you because you are a Republican, but you're running as an independent. So we're fighting against independents who are trying to take the Republican seats.
They're fighting against you. I want you to hear this. The party is fighting against you.
Okay.
So that makes sense.
Yeah.
So people have to understand.
That makes sense. No, wait a minute. It doesn't. Hang on. I got questions.
Independent can vote either way.
But is the independent a rhino?
So, let me tell you.
So Cheryl, who are the rhinos? Okay, because that's what Diamond and Silk really. We don't care if they're Republicans or independents. Who are the rhinos?
Those independents never voted in the primary. So per the bylaws, you had to be had voted.
Per the bylaws, per the rules.
3 out of 4 Republican primaries. Well, they had 0. So
Keith, stay with me because I'm going to get back to those rules in a minute. The rules that we follow with the Republican Party.
Thing is, how are you trying to be a voice for me and you were never a voice for yourself? So now you're saying that you want to be a voice for the people, but how are you going to be a voice for the people when you never voted anyway? They had 0 out of 4. And so because they knew they could not run on the Republican ticket per our rules, well, they're saying now we'll just run as independents, but Republicans, please vote for us.
Okay,
go.
So who's the money that's behind the independent?
So they're not letting this go. So she's like, but wait a minute. So where's the money going? Where's the rhino money going? Is the because we're not opposed to independence. That's what they're saying. So who are the rhinos and who's funding the rhinos? Is it the Republicans or are these nasty independents?
Is it Democrat money? Is it Republican money or rhino Republican money? Do you know who's actually pushing?
Do you know, Cheryl? Do you know who the rhinos are? Where's the money coming from, Cheryl? Do you know?
The independent in order to split the Republican vote?
Well, I'll just say
allegedly or what have you.
I love the way Diamond and Silk would just not give her an inch. They wanted to know from her, well, who's funding the independents? Who are the Republicans? You know, who's the rhinos here? Because that's what we're not concerned about, Republican independent. We just want to know who's the rhinos and who's funding them. Well, what Cheryl didn't tell them is that the Republicans were the rhinos and the independents were being kicked off the ballot, the conservatives having to run as independents because the party didn't want to accept them as members of the Republican Party as a candidate. This is where we are. I hope that all of you remember this and listen to me. This is so critical. I cannot tell you how critical it is for you to show up on March 4th and make sure that we retain a party here in Williamson County that follows the rules, that operates in transparency, but more importantly, I think this is the bigger statement, a party that works for the people and not the politicians. What they want is a party that just keeps its mouth shut, raises a little bit of money, and pats all of our legislators on the back. What we have right now is a party that raises money, but that promotes the values of the conservative platform and holds our elected officials accountable to the principles that we hold as Republicans. That's important. In my view, they want a party that raises money and talks good about Republican elected officials. We want a party and currently have a party that raises money, but uses that money to promote conservative values and fight for the people and ensure that our elected leaders stick to the platform and are held accountable to you, the voter. We have accomplished that here in Williamson County, and it's been a great 2 years, and we're just getting started. Show up on March 4th and support the Elevate 2025 team. You can check them out right now at elevate-2025.com, and you can learn all you need to know about these great candidates. Most of these are the returning current board members of the Republican Party who we fully endorse here at Tennessee Stands. Thank you for joining, and thank you for being in the fight with us.